So just diving right in here, Masterpiece Models didn't tell me that this was a snap together kit. These wing sections haven't been glued on. I'm just kidding. It's not a snap kit, of course, it's just a pretty well done resin kit. They just sort of plop off. They have wedges in there, and all I did was went in with the file and removed a little bit of material on both sides, and now we have some really cool sort of plug and play action going on. Yeah, see? Perfect. So I'm just going to glue these in, and we'll get some filler in there at some stage. I've pre-washed the parts, so I'm sort of just tossing up whether to prime first and then attach, or just glue and then prime. You'll find out in a couple of seconds. So thanks for joining me again to see a little bit more of the build process of the Blake 7 Pursuit ship. And there's my cat saying hello as well. Don't know if you can hear him or not. Basically what I've done so far is the model has been cleaned. For those who don't know, resin kits, often when you get them, still have mold release agent on there. It's just to help them get out of the silicone mold. So all you need to do with that is just wash the parts in some warm soapy water and give them a chance to dry, and maybe a little bit of a sand as well, and that helps the the primer stick to the part a lot better. So they've been lightly primed and of course cleaned, and there's my cat going again. And what I've done is I've started adding the detail parts to the kit itself, as well as gotten in and started to take care of some of the seam work. Some of the parts don't have seams, some of them do, and in fact most of the seams were really minimal. I don't really want to say this out loud, but this model is sort of coming together pretty easily. So I've got these parts on. I just sort of sanded back the primer a little bit so that the glue had something to hold on to. And I've done the same on these contact points here for, when these go on. But that'll be a little bit later after I've finished the assembly on all the parts, so I don't want to whack them off, So I've got some epoxy. I super glued the parts on and use some epoxy just to get into that gap there, and so that'll be sanded, and then more putty, more traditional hobby putty will be applied over top of that and sanded and painted and rinsed and repeated and that kind of thing. What we're looking at now is, because all these detail parts have been added on, I can now start finishing the assembly on the sub-assemblies and getting into airbrushing everything black. So what we'll be doing next is, after everything's dried up sort of overnight, I'll go and I'll start addressing some of these seams and completing these wing assemblies here. So these parts kind of go on like this, and with the kit you get a bit of brass tube. With the kit you get a bit of brass tube and a styrene rod and a tube rather, and they kind of go on there, but they're too long, so they need altered a little bit. And once these are on and in place like this, I can actually start attaching things, these wing sections, to the main body, and that's when I'll be painting everything black. Because this model is essentially red. It's got a lot of red. The paint job actually kind of reminds me of the Radiant from Phantom Menace, the blockade runner style ship, and which is why I'm really excited to paint this, because I've been painting a lot of greys and whites and things for quite a while. Well, it's 2 minutes to midnight at the moment. Before you start playing the Iron Maiden song, I'm starting to get some colour on here. This is just Tamiya flat red. It's just XF7. Yeah, XF7. And I've just applied it really kind of thinly and imperfectly because we don't want this to look like a toy. So what I'm going to do now is get some of these tape squares and put them all over the model, as I've sort of started to do here, and then we'll mix this XF7 with some X6, some orange or a tan colour, I haven't quite decided yet, and sort of mist that over and do the process over once again, and at the end of it you'll have a gradation paintwork that'll look like a real miniature. So all I'm doing is getting a bit of tape, cutting it into squares. It's the easiest thing, and if you like, with this section I've sort of folded it over a little just so it looks a little more realistic, because if you could envision somebody building this, that sort of helps a lot as well. So you got a long one, I'll make it a little bit, and you can't see but I'm cutting it off camera using a ruler as a guide. So you get something like this, different kinds of shapes, and I might put that right about there, and don't want to go too overboard. Really at the end of this you're hardly going to see these individual panels. What you're going to see is just an indication of some depth in the paintwork, which is what I do on all my models, and it's the sort of effect you really want. Right, so I've just made up a custom mix of the flat red and the orange, and I'm just going to airbrush it over what I've masked. Righto boys and girls, I've just taken off the masking tape on one side after applying my last colour, and you can sort of see the effect that we got. You've got the flat red at the bottom, tinted with a bit of orange, and the last coat was just the custom mix with more straight orange just in the airbrush. And I just doused the model in there, and now I'm just beginning to take the masking tape off, and yeah, I'm really happy with the result. Now for those of you keeping track at home, this isn't the actual ordinary way I paint these. Usually I use the final coat, or one of the final coats, as a base coat and make a template and actually do these afterwards, but I did see this technique used on a forum somewhere and I really liked it, and I thought that I may as well try it. It does take a little longer, but I think it does give off a unique impression, and I'm really happy that I used it. Alright, hello again. It is literally 2 o'clock in the morning and I just finished peeling the masking tape off the Blake 7 Pursuit ship. Oh no I didn't. Except for those two bits. And I'm pretty sure you can get a good impression in this artificial light of what sort of look I got out of it. And here's the back piece here. You can see the red, the pure red, and the mixture and the oxidized sort of colour on top, and I'm really super happy with how it came out. I'm really glad I sort of did the long way and did the masks. What I'll be up to next is just spray canning this wee sucker silver, and that sort of goes on like that, and it's a little wonky, but give me a second, I'll fix it up. And then sort of glue the butt on, mount the sucker, and then I love the way it looks now, but what I'll probably do is give it a clear coat tomorrow and get some of this Citadel wash on it. And I really love how it worked with my TIE fighters, the Bandai TIE fighters that I've done, and I think I'm going to do the same on this, just to bring it out a little more. And I'm thinking, because I'm looking at pictures of the studio model, I can see really fine pencil lines outlining all these shapes, and I might do something a little bit like that at the end as well, just to bring it all out a little. This is really annoying me. And yeah, so that's it for tonight. I'm going to clean my airbrush and go to bed probably. It's really crunch time for this. I'm going on holiday in literally hours overseas for a month, so I'm going to, but probably by the time you see this I'll be back and everything, but I've really got to get this finished, mounted, and the pictures sent off to Masterpiece Model so they can make use of them, and don't want to leave them high and dry just so I can go and sit on a beach somewhere. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm pretty excited. I don't think I can go to bed quite yet. So I think that'll do it for right now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.